We're going to come into a seated meditation to start. You can either be sitting on your mat, on a pillow if that's more comfortable for you, or if you have tight hips, you can be up on a chair, okay? I think sometimes there's this misconception that like yoga people have to be able to sit crisscross on the ground. Not all our bodies work that way. So know that that's an option. You just need to find a shape that is, it's going to be comfortable for you for a few minutes. Lengthen up through your spine and just soften your shoulders. Balance your head on both shoulders. And then decide what you want to do with your hands. They can be in your lap. Sometimes when I'm feeling particularly like chaotic in my head, I like to put my hands on my heart and on my belly. And then I use this connection to connect to two different things: the rhythm of the breath and the rhythm of the heartbeat. So right now you don't have any job to do except to breathe. For me to turn inward, it helps to have my eyes closed. But for you, it might be more comfortable to have your eyes open. There are so many different ways that you can modify this practice. So just be aware of what works for you. Now, as you're breathing, see what's happening with your breath. Are your inhales smooth? Are they deep? Does your inhale flow into the next evenly? Kind of like a swing going back and forth on the playground? Or is there a little jump between the inhale and the exhale? How much air are you bringing into your lungs? How's your body physically feeling? How is your mind feeling? How's your heart feeling? Now let's just start to explore modifying our breath. So can you lengthen your inhale to a count of 4, 3, 2, and then 1, exhaling for 4, 3, 2, and 1. So we're making our breath rhythmic. Keep counting in your head: 4, 3, 2, 1 on your inhale, and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now the goal here is just to make it rhythmic. So if the count of 4 doesn't work for you, just choose any other number. Pick any old number, doesn't matter. Now, as you keep breathing, can you try to fill the capacity of your lungs a bit more? So deep inhales, deep exhales. Deep inhales and deep exhales. The last thing that you're going to try to do is direct your breath to the center of the heart. So many of us, quite naturally, we breathe up in our chest. Or maybe you have a tendency to breathe into your belly. And there's this doctor called Dr. Alan Watkins. He did a TED Talk. He said that we should breathe into the center of our heart. And that can help move your mind from an anxious state to a more calm state. See if you can direct your breath to your heart. And now, before we start moving, I'm going to invite you to set an intention for your practice. Actually, before we set an intention, can you make sure that your phone is turned off? I know that when we're outside of the studio, we feel like, I don't know, less socially committed to be off our phones. I'm the worst at it. But now more than ever, we need this hour away from it all. So even if you're not turning it off, just, put it out of reaching distance. And now the intention we were working with this morning was I am centered. So if you want that to be your intention, feel free. Or you can pick something else. What it really means by intention is, why are you here? So I'm here to de-stress. I'm here to stretch. I'm here to build strength. Or maybe I'm here because there's literally nothing else to do and I'm socially isolated and I'm bored. It's okay. Whatever it is, acknowledge that now. Take one more breath in stillness, and then we're all going to start to move. Just going to do a gentle spinal warm up. So take an inhale, sweep both of your arms up towards the sky. You can interlace your palms and reach them overhead. And then just stretch to the right. And then stretch up and then stretch to the left. Come all the way back up with your breath in. Now, as you exhale, take a twist over the shoulder and then just gaze. Come all the way back up, lift both palms up. Twist the opposite way. Come all the way back through center. And now we're just going to stretch our neck a little bit. So drop your right shoulder drop your right earlobe towards your right shoulder. And if you want to take your right palm and anchor it on the side of your head, you can. This is our traps muscle that we're stretching. The traps muscle is one of the top areas of the body where we carry our stress. And I will never forget the first time I stretched this part of my body in a yoga class. I was crying because it was like 20 years of stress that I hadn't figured out how to let go of. So as we're stretching and opening through these parts of the body, just know that whatever emotional response or physical response that you have is okay. Take the head all the way back through center and then stretch the opposite way. That being said, I want you to try to define the difference between an edge that is a healthy edge and then pain. So it's okay in yoga poses to be uncomfortable, especially if we're not familiar with them. But anything that is like a sharp pain, please back off. Please modify, send me a chat message if it doesn't feel good, okay? Yoga is supposed to feel good, that's the point. And you're your first teacher, especially since I'm not there in the room. So make a commitment to that. Let's lift the head all the way up, and we're gonna do some gentle warm-ups now. So come onto your mat so that your palms are underneath the shoulders and the knees are underneath the hips. This is called your tabletop. If your knees at any point feel sore, you can place a blanket or a pillow underneath them. I see that a lot of you guys are frozen. Can you still hear me? Yeah. I'm gonna try turning off your videos, guys, just to see if it's gonna help with the speed of the internet. You guys can all still hear me? Yeah? Okay, then I'm gonna leave the videos on for now, we'll see. Okay, so come into a table. Palms underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And as you inhale, you're gonna tilt at the pelvis and lift your heart up. This is called your cow. And then exhale, curl the spine, tuck your chin. This is your cat. So keep moving with your own breath, inhaling. And then exhaling. Moving with your own rhythm. So now what we're doing here is spinal flexion and spinal extension. And if you want to move your spine in any other ways that your intuition is telling you to, then just do that. Let's take one more breath. And then come all the way through center. Walk your palms forward so that you're in a low plank. So we're going to take this simple vinyasa, and how you're going to do it is you're going to draw your elbows back so that you're lowering onto the mat. And then take an inhale, gently lifting up through the palms, lift your heart. Exhale back down, and then shift through a tabletop. And we're gonna find our way into our first downward facing dog. So in your downward dog, your hips are directed up towards the sky. Your palms are spread, you're spreading evenly through the fingers, and maybe you bend one knee and bend the next. If this down dog feels like too much for you, if you're a beginner, you can also be on the chair, and you can just have hands on the chair and send your hips back, okay? That gets you the same benefit. But if you're good in the down dog, we're gonna stay for one more breath. And then bend through the knees, gaze forward, step your feet up to meet your hands. Take an inhale to halfway lift. Take an exhale to fold. And then inhale, sweep both palms up towards the sky, reach through the fingers. Take your palms into your heart center, connect your thumbs to your heartbeat. Now we're gonna do 3 half sun salutations. Okay, so to do this, you're gonna inhale, take both palms up towards the sky, and then exhale into your fold. Take your inhale to halfway lift. And then exhale into your fold. Press through both knees. Inhale, circle your palms up to stand. And then exhale your palms into heart center. 2 more of these. Take your breath in, reach your palms up. Exhale into your fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then press through both feet. Inhale, lift all the way up to stand. And then take your palms into heart center. One more round, breath in. Breath out. Breath in. And then breath out. Inhale, lift all the way up. And then take your palms into heart center. Okay, for the next one, we're gonna add on. So lift your palms up towards the sky. Exhale down into a fold. Inhale to lift. And then exhale to lower back down. Keep your right foot where it is, and then step your left foot back on the mat. So you're coming into this low lunge. In this posture, you want your right knee directly on top of your right ankle. And then you can place your palms on the mat and do a little bit of a rock back and forth until you're getting into the hips. And then let's land the back knee on the mat. Now again, if you're having any issues there, you can place a blanket, place a pillow. Inhale both palms up towards the sky, finding your gentle low lunge. And we're just gonna stay here for a few breaths. Taking one more inhale. And then exhale, fold forward. Walk your palms back as you lengthen over the right leg. So this is quite a deep hamstring stretch. If your hamstrings are tight, you can have your hands like up here on a chair. In the studio, we use yoga blocks. I know a lot of us probably don't have blocks at home. Just work with whatever you've got in your house. You can use books. I've seen people use water bottles. Take one more breath. And then slowly bend through the right knee, walk the palms forward. As you inhale, just take your right palm up towards the sky. And then exhale the right palm back down. Step your right foot back on the mat. And we're gonna slowly lower all the way down onto the navel. Inhale, lift the heart up. Exhale to fold. And then shift all the way back into your down dog. Now I'm slowing those movements quite a lot since it is our foundations flow. It's supposed to be for everyone. If you're a regular at yoga and you want to take it a bit more advanced, you can. You don't have to. We're going to take our left foot forward now. So take a big step with your left foot forward. If it doesn't get all the way between the hands, you can use your hand and like step it forward. That's okay. So we're going to do the same thing, rocking forward and back, getting into the hip crease. Taking one more breath. And then land onto the right knee. Inhale, lift both palms up towards the sky. Let's stay for 3, for 2, and then for 1. Take both palms back to the mat and then lengthen the leg as you find that hamstring stretch. Let's go for 3, for 2, and then for 1. Walk your palms forward, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and then step your right foot all the way forward, find a forward fold. Let's take an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step your toe mounds together, bend through the knees, sit back, find your chair, your Uttanasana. This is everyone's favorite pose in yoga. And they think all night, I just can't wait to go and do chair pose in yoga. I was saying last night that the thing about this virtual teaching is that I like can't hear if you guys are laughing at my jokes or not. I'm just gonna hope that you're laughing. So in this pose, these are the common misalignments. We tend to slide our knees too far forward. We tend to have our hips too high. So see if you can sit a little lower, tuck your tailbone, and then draw your knees back in space. You got this. You got this. 3, 2, and then on 1, lift all the way up. Take a deep breath in, and then take your palms into your heart center. As you are standing here, I want you to imagine that your torso is like a glass of water, and it's full of sand. And the sand has been stirred up and up and up, and it's all chaotic. And as you stand in your stillness here and you breathe, the sand begins to settle and the water clears. The sand settles, the water clears. Take a breath in, sweep both palms up towards the sky, upward mountain. Exhale into a fold. We're going to do that warm up one more time on the opposite side. So inhale both palms up towards the sky, not towards the sky, half lift. Exhale, fold. And this time you're going to step your right foot back first and do a little rock forward and back with the hips. Staying for one more breath. And then land your right knee on the mat, untuck the toes, lift all the way up, finding your low lunge. Now I'm going to invite you in here to take a little bit of a shoulder stretch. We're going to open our arms wide into goalpost arms. You're going to wrap the right arm underneath the left and either grip your opposite shoulders or weave them together. Okay, so you're going to lift your elbows, kind of come into a back bend, let your heart open, your shoulders settle. Staying here for 3, for 2, and then on 1, we're going to inhale both palms up, exhale, fold, take a couple of twists, lift your left palm, so you keep your right palm where it is, inhale, and then exhale to lower back down, take 3 more, breath in, and then breath out, 2, and then 1. Coming back to center, walk your palms back, lengthen through your left leg, and move through 3 rounds of breath. Inhale, exhale, hinge at your heart, forward fold. 3 more breaths. Maybe the second time around, you feel your edge shifting. Maybe you can move a little deeper into the shape. 1 more. Walk your palms back. Step your left foot back so that the knees are together in your low lunge, your low plank again. Slowly lower all the way down. Inhaling up into a back bend. Exhaling, lower. And then come through a table all the way up into a down dog. So we're going to move on to the next side. So your right foot might lift up and then just give it a big step forward. Rocking back and forth. Eventually you'll land onto the left knee. Inhale your palms up. Open into your goalpost arms. And this time it is the left underneath the right. Either shoulders, weave together, lean the heart back. Hold onto it for 3. If you're wobbly, it's okay. I'm wobbly too. 2, and then 1. Lift both palms up, take your breath in, and then exhale to hinge forward. Now 3 twists, so left palm anchors, breathe in, and then breathe out. 3, 2, last twist. Land the right palm, walk the feet back on the mat, move into your forward fold. So 3 breaths, inhale, and then exhale, 2, and then 1. Now we're gonna walk forward. I just wanna show you guys a pose. You're gonna step your right foot back, and we're gonna drop into what's called a child's pose. So you can have knees together or knees apart. Sit your hips back, and then you can rest your forehead. So this is like a rest pose. If it's not restful for you, feel free to find a different rest pose. The point is, I want you to know where it is and how to do it so that you can always come back here at any point in the practice. If you just need to collect yourself or take a moment in stillness, this is here for you. Okay, let's slowly lift up into a table, and we're gonna play around with a little bit of balance on our knees. So keeping both palms where they are, lift your right leg. And now if you feel steady, you can lift the left arm as well. And if that does not feel good, land the left palm back down. So you're lifting opposite arm, opposite leg. Now I want you to reach in one long line from your fingertips all the way through the heels and feel your core engaging. This is hard for me because we did power yoga this morning. Take one more breath with everything long, and then draw your elbow, draw your knee. 3 more, inhale. On your exhale, curl. 2 more. And then 1 more. Lift all the way back. And then land your left palm and land your right knee. Let's take a full breath in, tilting and lifting. And then exhaling, curl. Realigning the spine. And then taking the opposite side. So your left leg extends. And maybe both your hands stay on the mat. That's okay. Maybe you lift the opposite arm. Feel your long, long reach. Core engage for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Inhale. And then curl the right knee, curl the left elbow. Breathe in, lengthen. And then exhale, curl. 2 more, inhale. And then exhale. 1 more, inhale. You got this, exhale. Come all the way back, land both palms. Now before we step up into down dog, just make sure that you're spreading your weight evenly and not dumping it all into the wrists. So really suction through the hands and support yourself, and then lift all the way up. So I'm going to teach you a few key standing poses in yoga. So we're going to start by drawing our right leg up and then drawing our right knee in and stepping the right foot between the palms. And the first pose we're going to come into is warrior 1. So you're going to land through your left heel, land your right knee on top of your right ankle, and then lift both palms up towards the sky. So in this pose, you want your legs to be like there's a little bit of space between the legs. You're not like totally narrow with them. And your hips are like geared towards the front of the room. And then have like an energy and intention through the arms, but a softness through the shoulders. Taking deep breaths. And take 1 more inhale in your warrior 1. And then we're going to switch to what's called a warrior 2. So you're going to reach your right arm forward, reach your left arm back. And this is a much longer lunge. So your right fingertips are reaching to the front of the mat. Your left fingertips are reaching back. Right knee is stacking above right ankle. Take a breath in, reverse your warrior. So you're breathing into the right rib cage. And then we're just going to gently flow. Exhale up, warrior 2. 3 more, inhale. And then exhale. 2. You got it. Last one. Come all the way up to a warrior 2. Lengthen through your right leg. Shorten your stance a tiny bit. Now start reaching forward, hinging at the hips. Your right arm is going to clock alongside your right leg, and your left arm will reach up towards the sky, and your gaze is going to go along your arm towards your thumb. Let's take 5 rounds of breath in our triangle pose. Now the goal here is not to touch the ground. I see that a lot, and people touch the ground and then they kind of collapse their whole body. So don't worry about reaching all the way down there. I want you to have like an openness through your right side body. And if you're reaching all the way, then you're gonna do like that. So coming up like this if you can. Gazing up if it works for your neck. Let's take one more round of breath. And then you're gonna bend through the right knee again. Just come all the way up to stand, lengthen through your leg, turn all 10 toes to face the side wall. As you breathe in, lift both arms into a star, and then exhale both palms forward. So a deep, deep stretch through our hamstrings. And I'm gonna let you choose what you do with your arms right now. So you can grip opposite elbows, you can dangle, you can interlace the palms and send them behind you, you choose. Give it one more breath. And then press through both feet, come all the way up to stand. Turn your right toes back to the front. So I've kind of turned around so you can see me. And then we're gonna windmill both palms to the mat and frame the foot. And then just step back into a strong plank. So we're gonna hold plank for a few breaths. If you're more comfortable with the knees landed, then by all means do that. You wanna feel your core turning on. You wanna support yourself with the ground. Breathe into it. Let's take 5 rounds of breath. This is everyone's second favorite pose, I think. If chair is everyone's first, plank is everyone's second. Let's give it 2 more breaths. We're not going to be in plank forever, I promise. Just 1 more breath, you can do it. And then land the knees onto the mat. Slowly lower. Let's take a few rounds of back bends, okay? So for the first one, take your palms alongside your body. Inhale, lift all the way up. This is a superhero pose. Staying for 3. So legs are lifted, hands are lifted 2. And then 1 lower and land a cheek. Now for your next one, oh wait, not that one. For your next one, interlace your palms behind your back. And then inhale, lift your heart. Staying for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and then for 1 to lower down and land a cheek. So we're gonna take 1 more back bend. You can take the first one, you can take the second one. If you are familiar with yoga, if you've done this before, you might also kick your heels to your bottom and come up into an upward bow. Now, please be mindful of how your back feels. Don't do it because I'm telling you to. And if anything feels like pain, then back off, right? The point of yoga is to feel better when we're leaving, not worse. Just have a bit of patience and the body will open with time. Stay where you are for 1 more breath. And then lower down and just land a cheek. And maybe you bend the knees and flip-flop the feet from side to side, letting everything go. Come back into the center and then press through the palms, come all the way up. We're gonna try those standing poses on the opposite side. So come all the way back up. Now this time your left foot is coming forward. I'm gonna flip around again so that you can see me better. So left foot comes forward, step your left foot forward, land onto your right heel. If you need to use your hand to get it there, that's okay. Lift both arms up. Find yourself into a warrior one. So this time arms are reaching overhead again. Shoulders are settling. Find the alignment with the left knee, stacking above the left ankle, and then press through your right heel. So it should be a stretch for your right calf. And we're gonna stay there for one more breath. And then open into a warrior two. Land your left knee stacking above your left ankle so your hips are opening towards the camera. And then we're gonna move through our flows. So inhale, reverse the warrior, breathe into the left side rib cage. And then exhale, warrior two. Three more, inhale. And then exhale, two. And then one. Come all the way up. Lengthen through your left leg. You can shorten your stance a little bit. Hinge at the hips. Take your left arm alongside your left leg. Find that Trikonasana, triangle. Now let's take one more breath. And then press through the feet, come all the way up to stand. Take your hands onto your hips. Turn all 10 toes to face the wall. This time you're gonna take your your heels in, your toes out, hands on the hips, bend through the knees, find yourself into this goddess squat. Take your arms up into goalpost arms. Now either you just stay like this, or you're gonna wrap one arm underneath the opposite and either grip the shoulders or weave together. Now this is another one of those poses that's super uncomfortable. And a really key part of our yoga practice is learning how to sit in poses that are uncomfortable. For me, when I started yoga, it was like a resilience training because I had so much anxiety. And when I learned to sit in a bit of discomfort, and I realized that everything was gonna be okay, you're not gonna be in the yoga pose forever, kind of helped me apply that skill off my yoga mat and in my life. Okay, let's open the arms and then twist the opposite way. I have a secret to tell you. I'm just making you do this with your arms so that your mind is distracted from what's happening with your legs. You can do it, you can do it. We're not gonna be here forever. Let's take a few deep breaths. And then unwind the arms, lengthen, turn your toes in, breathe in, exhale, fold forward. Now in your forward fold, we're gonna move through a few twists. So you can either just stay in neutral, arms as they are, and if you wanna take the twist, you're gonna come onto your fingertips, and then inhale your left arm up towards the sky. And then exhale, take it back down, and then breathe the opposite way. Take 3 more, so land the palms, twist up. And like we did before, exhaling to lower, I want you to use your breath to kind of come into a moving meditation. So you move on the inhale. Inhales are generally to expand in yoga. And then exhales are generally to contract. So if you forget what you're doing, just remember that. Inhale, open, exhale, close. Okay, I think that was the last one. Just breathe into neutral. And then take your palms onto your hips. Come all the way up to stand. Okay, we're gonna take two beginner balancing poses. So you can wiggle your feet in. This is where our chair comes in handy. If you are feeling wobbly, just have it there, okay? So the first one we're gonna do is a warrior 3. So you're gonna keep your right foot where it is, lift your left leg up, and then start coming forward. And if you wanna hold onto a chair for stability, you can. Or you can have your palms at heart center or palms alongside the hips. So really either or. So generally in this pose, I'm gonna do it the other way so you can see me better. We have this tendency to stack the hip. In this particular pose, the hips are level. There's nothing wrong with it if your right hip is lifting, but that's just a different yoga pose. So try to square your right hip so that it's level with your left. And then extend through your right heel and extend through the crown of your head, finding your balance, pressing through the left big toe, supporting yourself here. Let's take 5 deep breaths in stillness. This is very unusual for me. Usually in my classes, we're flowing from one pose to the next. So sometimes it's fun to just try stillness and see what different things come up. Okay, one more breath. And then come all the way up. Landing your feet. Feeling the difference from right leg to left. And then whichever side you didn't yet do, you're going to do it on the opposite side. Maybe holding onto your chair for stability. Maybe play with a different arm variation. Take 2 more breaths. 1 more. And slowly lift all the way up to stand. Rock it out. Okay, 1 more balancing pose. So for this one, this is called tree pose. Your right foot can be your anchor. You're gonna lift your left toes up, open your left hip, and then either land your left foot on the inside, the shin, or maybe all the way up on the thigh. Your goal here is to just not have the foot on the inside of the knee because that will push it in a way that it's not meant to go. Okay, so above or below. And you can have a hand on a chair as well. You can also lift your arms up. Maybe if you're looking for a balance challenge, you play with closing your eyes. I am not that balanced today, clearly. That's okay. We all have different days. Somewhere we feel more balanced than others. Give it 1 more breath. And then take the left foot back down. Let's take the opposite side. So right foot is going to come somewhere on the left leg. Find your shape. Take 1 more breath. Then land that foot back down. Pause for a moment. This is your mountain pose. It's easy to skip over because it doesn't really feel like a pose. You're just standing here. But see if you can make it a pose with your energy. get a pose with your intention. I am centered. I am present, whatever it is. And we're going to take one last little yoga flow before we come down into our mat. So inhale both palms up towards the sky. Exhale to fold. Take your inhale to lift halfway. And then exhale to lower, land the palms, step your way back into a plank. Let's hold our strong plank together for 5. Breath in, knees can be lowered. 4, 3, 2, and then on 1, both knees come onto the mat. Slowly lower, elbows back in space. Breathe in, lift the heart. Exhale to lower. And then shift your body up. And then we'll come over and into a seated shape. So Navasana, boat pose. This is a core pose. I hate this pose. You're gonna take your palms alongside your shoulders and your heels can just be grounded, or you can lift your feet up. Now I've recently been trying to do these poses that I hate because I think it's really important that we try the things that make us feel uncomfortable, because that's how we grow, right? When we push ourselves a little bit beyond our personal edge. And if you're the yoga teacher, then you can just decide to skip the things you hate. So I am going to try to integrate these things a little bit more. We're gonna lower all the way down. This is called Ardha Navasana. Ardha meaning half, Navasana meaning boat pose. I like to call this a boat float because it just makes more sense to me. Let's take 3, 2, and then on 1, rest everything down. Bend through your knees, press your feet onto the mat, press your palms alongside the hips. We're gonna take some flows into bridge pose. So on your inhale, you're gonna lift your hips up, and then on your exhale, you're gonna lower the hips down. Let's take 3 more of these. So this is a gentle back bend. It's also some work for our quads. Imagine that you have a yoga block or a Pilates ball between your thighs, and you're just holding that block in place. Last one, let's lift all the way up. If you are a regular yogi and you would like to take another back bend, feel free. Otherwise, we're all gonna stay here. See, Yasser's just sticking with the bridge. We did power yoga today. We don't need anything harder. Take one more inhale. And then slowly roll each and every vertebrae, one at a time, down onto the mat. Lift your left leg, cross your left ankle on top of your right thigh and flex your left toes. Push your left palm into your left thigh. Now you can either stay here or you can lift the right foot off, interlace the palms on the back of the thigh or on the front of the shin. Just rest your shoulders, rest your head. Take a few deep breaths in your pigeon. One more inhale, one more exhale. Release your right foot, release your left, and just open your arms into cactus arms. Take your knees up, and then drop both knees over to the right. So just doing a little spinal twist. Then we'll take that stretch in the opposite way. So you want both shoulders to be rooted on the mat here. If one shoulder is lifting, you could support your knees with like a pillow or a block or something. You just want to have a full twist through the spine. That's the goal. So that's why our shoulders are anchored. Take one more breath. And then lift both knees up. And then let's take our pigeon the opposite way. So cross the right ankle, flex through the right toes, press the right palm into your right leg. Now maybe you stay here, or maybe you deepen into the stretch. At the start of the class, I told you guys that the traps muscles are a hot spot for holding stress. And if that is hot spot number 1, this is hot spot number 2. So just kind of let whatever comes up and out of you come up and out of you. Taking deep inhales and exhales. One more breath in. One more breath out. Take your left foot onto the mat. Take your right foot onto the mat. Open your arms and drop the knees the opposite way, gazing over the shoulder. Take one more breath. Come all the way back up. Just take your knees into the chest. Give yourself a little hug. In this hug, just thank yourself for making yoga a priority, for doing something so good for your mental and your physical and your spiritual health. We're going to take a few breaths before we move into a shavasana or a meditation to take whatever stretch feels good. So if you want to take your knees wide and take a little, this is called a happy baby. You could also bring your feet to the mat and open the knees and open the arms. This is a Baddha Konasana. Really whatever feels good. And I'm going to come up to seated. Oh, just check the time, it's already 5:25. So we're gonna do a short little shavasana or a meditation, just about 4 or 5 minutes. So stretch yourself either flat out on the mat, come up to seated, if you like, either or. I went to a yoga class a few months ago. The yoga teacher said when we dropped into Shavasana, he said, now the warm-up is over and our yoga practice has begun. What did he mean by that? The original intention of yoga thousands and thousands of years ago was to warm up the body and prepare for meditation. That's the whole reason we're doing all these poses. It's to prepare yourself for this. So this is the most important pose. And I am guilty of it too when I'm at home. If my camera is not on, the teacher can't see me. Maybe I'm looking at my phone. But give yourself this time. You deserve this time. If your mind is wandering away out of this room and out of this space, just gently tell it to come back and start again. Inhaling and exhaling. So just as we're laying here, I want to share with you something I read on Instagram, obviously, last night. It really touched me, and I wanted to share it with you. It said, when this is over, may we never again take for granted a handshake with a stranger, full shelves on the store, conversations with neighbors, a crowded theater, Friday night out, the taste of communion, a routine checkup, the school rush each morning, coffee with a friend, the stadium roaring, each deep breath, a boring Tuesday, life itself. When this ends, may we find that we have become more like the people we wanted to be, the people we were called to be, the people we hoped to be, and may we stay that way, better for each other because of the worst. The author's name is Laura Kelly Fanucci. Loka samasta Sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta Sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta Sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta Sukhino bhavantu. Just give your fingers and your toes a little wake up wiggle. Run a nice long stretch through the body, your fingertips all the way through your toes. Curl the body into a ball. Give yourself a nice little hug. And rock your way up to seated. Taking your palms together at heart center. Lengthening up through the spine and softening the shoulders. And we close with an intention, an ancient intention, perhaps the original intention. It's been passed heart by heart, year after year, that our yoga practice remains steady, that our efforts be continuous, that our yoga be of service and benefit to all beings everywhere. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May they walk on the path towards freedom each and every day. So we're going to finish with an Om sound, which is a sound of unity. And I know that we all can't hear each other and I can't hear you, but we can imagine it and we can express it, imagining that we were all together in this room today, because we were. So we'll inhale, exhale, and then inhale through to make the Om. Let's take a breath in. And then a breath out. Breath in. Thank you so much for showing up today, for sharing the space and the practice. It's of service and benefit to me as much as it is to you. So thank you, thank you. Namaste. I don't know if you can see that heart. Thank you, guys.
The Mindful Life Practice.